Welcome to Miss Luls Economics, where we make economics simple and exam ready. Let's learn, understand, and succeed together. Today's lesson explores protectionism and free trade, two key approaches countries use to control international trade and influence economic growth and development. Now, let's explore two powerful approaches shaping global trade, each influencing how countries compete, protect, and grow in the international economy. Export promotion occurs when government provides incentives to encourage local producers to increase production of goods and services for export to international markets. South Africa promotes exports through incentives like tax rebates and subsidies for citrus farmers, helping them produce more and compete successfully in international markets. Import to substitution happens when countries replace imported goods with locally produced alternatives to strengthen domestic industries and reduce reliance on foreign products. Protectionism refers to government policies that restrict imports to protect local industries from foreign competition and promote domestic economic stability. South Africa applies tariffs on imported vehicles, making them more expensive, encouraging consumers to buy locally manufactured cars and protecting the domestic automotive industry. Now, let's explore why countries promote exports and how this strategy drives growth, employment, and global competitiveness. It enlarges production capacity as firms invest in resources and technology to meet growing international demand. Export markets are much larger than domestic markets, giving businesses more opportunities to grow and increase sales. Export growth creates employment opportunities as industries expand production to meet international demand. Increased production can reduce costs, leading to lower prices for both domestic and international consumers. Next, we'll look at the main methods countries use to boost exports and support local producers in global markets. Export promotion methods include incentives, subsidies, and trade neutrality, all aimed at encouraging producers to compete effectively in global markets. Incentives are rewards like tax rebates or cash support given to exporters to encourage higher production and increase competitiveness in international markets. South Africa offers export incentives like the Export Marketing and Investment Assistance Program, helping businesses cover marketing and promotional costs abroad. Subsidies reduce production costs for exporters, allowing them to sell goods at lower prices internationally and compete more effectively in global markets. Subsidies in South Africa, such as financial support for local manufacturers, reduce production costs and make exports more competitive in international markets. With trade neutrality, subsidies equal to tariffs are paid by the country that is promoting their exports. These subsidies neutralize tariffs imposed on the country. For example, if another country imposes tariffs on South African wine, the government gives exporters subsidies equal to those tariffs, keeping prices competitive in international markets. Let's now look at the advantages of export promotion and how it benefits the economy. There are no limits to production scale, as firms can expand output to meet the large global market demand. Export promotion increases domestic production as firms produce more goods for both local and international markets. It supports realistic exchange rates, reducing the need for exchange controls and trade restrictions. Countries add value to natural resources, increasing the profitability of exports and boosting industrial development. Increased exports improve the balance of payments by bringing more foreign currency into the country. Increased production lowers domestic prices, benefiting consumers through a more affordable goods. However, export promotion also has drawbacks. Let's explore the disadvantages and their impact on the economy. Subsidies and incentives can reduce real production costs artificially, distorting market efficiency. Other countries may respond with tariffs and quotas, limiting export opportunities. Developed countries may protect their labor-intensive industries, reducing market access for exports. When incentives are withdrawn, businesses may collapse, leading to increased unemployment. For instance, factories may shut down, as seen here. This leads to job losses and economic hardship. Incentives may lead to inefficiency and dumping, as firms rely on support instead of improving competitiveness. Next, let's explore import substitution and how South Africa reduces reliance on imported goods by promoting local production. Developing countries rely heavily on natural resources, so import substitution encourages using these resources locally for economic growth and development. It increases employment opportunities as local industries expand production to replace imported goods. It helps establish domestic industries, reducing reliance on foreign producers and strengthening local production capacity. This is crucial for economic growth and national resilience. Import substitution methods include tariffs, quotas, subsidies, exchange controls, bans, and trade diversion to reduce imports and strengthen domestic production. Tariffs are taxes placed on imported goods, increasing their prices to make local products more competitive in the domestic market. Tariffs increase the price of imported goods, encouraging consumers to buy locally produced alternatives, which helps protect domestic industries and reduce dependence on imports. Ad valorem tariffs are calculated as a percentage of the value of imported goods, often applied to luxury items like cars, jewelry, and perfumes. Physical controls involve complete bans or embargoes on certain imported goods, preventing them from entering the country entirely, protecting local industries by completely removing foreign competition in selected markets, like the temporary embargo South Africa placed on certain hazardous chemicals to protect local industries. Quotas limit the quantity of imports allowed into a country, reducing foreign competition and creating more space for local producers to sell their goods. For example, the South African government can limit the number of imported chickens, allowing local poultry producers to supply more of the domestic market. Subsidies provide financial support to local producers, lowering production costs and allowing domestic goods to compete more effectively against imported products. Exchange controls limit access to foreign currency, making it harder to import goods and encouraging consumers and businesses to rely on locally produced alternatives. For example, the South African Reserve Bank can limit access to foreign currency, making it difficult for firms to import goods, encouraging spending on locally produced alternatives instead. Trade diversion occurs when imports shift from efficient producers to less efficient local or preferred countries due to tariffs or trade restrictions. Voluntary import substitution happens when consumers willingly choose locally produced goods instead of imports, often due to patriotism, quality improvement, or price competitiveness. Forced import substitution occurs when countries face sanctions or boycotts, forcing them to produce goods locally because they cannot access international markets. Now, let's explore the key advantages of import substitution and how it can strengthen local industries and support economic growth. Import substitution increases employment as local industries expand, stimulating economic activity and contributing to higher GDP growth. Reducing imports improves the balance of payments, as less money flows out of the country for foreign goods. It encourages industrial development, which increases production and generates revenue for the government through taxes. It is relatively easy to implement, using tools like tariffs and quotas to restrict imports and protect local industries. Local production increases availability of goods, and saved foreign exchange can be used to import other products, expanding consumer choice. However, import substitution also comes with challenges. Resources and entrepreneurial talent may move away from industries with comparative advantage, reducing overall economic efficiency. It can reduce competitiveness in industries where the country has a natural advantage, weakening export potential. Industries may become dependent on protection, continuously demanding tariffs and support instead of improving efficiency. Policies may lead to overvalued exchange rates, making exports expensive and discouraging international trade. Import substitution does not eliminate imports, as countries still need capital and intermediate goods for production. Local industries may become inefficient due to lack of competition, increasing production costs. Consumers may pay higher prices for locally produced goods compared to cheaper international alternatives. Import substitution can lead to costly and economical projects that do not deliver expected economic benefits. Now, let's shift our focus to protectionism and how governments use policies to protect local industries from foreign competition. Protectionism refers to government policies that restrict imports to protect local industries from foreign competition and promote domestic economic stability. Let's now explore the key arguments in favor of protectionism and how it supports local industries, employment, and economic stability. Protectionism supports domestic industries by preserving jobs, protecting workers, and allowing industries time to grow and become competitive in global markets. Protectionism supports infant industries by protecting new businesses from strong foreign competition, allowing them time to grow, develop skills, and become competitive internationally. It prevents dumping, where foreign firms sell goods at very low prices to eliminate local competitors, which can damage domestic industries if not controlled. Protectionism helps declining industries survive by reducing foreign competition, giving them time to restructure, modernize, and protect jobs during economic transition. Protectionism can lead to inefficient resource allocation, where resources are used in industries that are not globally competitive instead of more productive sectors. It may trigger retaliation from other countries, leading to trade wars that reduce international trade and negatively affect global economic growth. Protectionist policies may create opportunities for corruption and reduce efficiency, as local firms face less competition and have little incentive to improve quality or reduce costs. Consumers often face higher prices because protected industries charge more, while imported inputs also become expensive, increasing production costs for local businesses. Over time, protectionism can reduce export competitiveness, as domestic industries become less efficient and struggle to compete in international markets. Now, let's turn to free trade and explore how open markets shape global exchange and economic growth. Free trade occurs when countries remove barriers like tariffs and quotas, allowing goods and services to move freely across borders. Next, let's explore the advantages of free trade and how it benefits consumers, boosts efficiency, and promotes global economic growth. It promotes faster economic growth by encouraging investment, innovation, and efficient production across industries. Increased competition from imports leads to lower prices, benefiting consumers and improving purchasing power. Free trade increases output as businesses expand production to meet both domestic and international demand. Firms benefit from economies of scale by producing in larger quantities, reducing average costs and improving efficiency. This allows them to lower prices and stay competitive in the market. Free trade creates mutual benefits as countries specialize in trade, gaining from their comparative advantages. It promotes efficient allocation of resources, ensuring production occurs where it is most productive and cost-effective. Consumers enjoy greater choice, with access to a wide variety of goods and services from different countries. Trade relationships reduce the likelihood of conflict, as countries become economically interdependent and benefit from cooperation. This fosters global stability and mutual prosperity. Free trade can enhance national security by strengthening economic ties and ensuring access to essential goods from global markets. However, free trade also has its challenges. Let's examine the arguments against it and its potential impact on local industries and inequality. Free trade can harm domestic industries, as cheaper imports outcompete local producers, leading to business closures and job losses. International trade requires additional resources for transportation, storage, and distribution, increasing overall costs in the economy. Without protection, infant industries may fail before they develop, losing the opportunity to grow into competitive and sustainable businesses. Free trade often benefits developed countries more, as they have stronger industries, better technology, and greater competitiveness. Foreign firms may gain too much influence in local markets, reducing control over the domestic economy and limiting opportunities for local businesses. Free trade may benefit wealthy individuals more than the poor, increasing inequality within countries. Now, let's explore how countries combine free trade and protectionism to form a balanced and effective trade policy. The scale shows how these approaches are balanced, with data analysis guiding policymakers. Every country designs a trade policy to boost international trade by setting clear rules, standards, and goals for smooth global economic interaction. Countries often cooperate in trade blocs like the European Union, BRICS, and SACU to create mutually beneficial trade policies. A desirable mix means combining free trade and protectionism based on a country's development stage and macroeconomic objectives. Although free trade dominates in theory, most countries still apply protectionist measures in practice to protect local industries. The World Trade Organization promotes free trade globally by reducing barriers and encouraging cooperation between countries. Let's now explore trade protocols and how countries formalize trade relationships through structured agreements. Trade protocols are agreements that set rules governing trade between countries, ensuring cooperation and alignment of economic goals. A free trade area removes tariffs and quotas between member countries, allowing goods and services to move freely across borders. FTAs may include free movement of people and are formed when countries have complementary economic structures. Next, let's explore customs unions and how countries adopt a common external trade policy. A customs union combines free trade between members with a common external tariff applied to non-member countries. It improves economic efficiency and strengthens political and cultural ties among member countries. Now, let's move to common markets and deeper levels of economic integration. The common market allows free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor among member countries. This includes goods like this model car and labor represented by this nay for this worker. It removes physical, technical, and fiscal barriers to ensure smooth economic interaction between member states. Finally, let's explore economic unions, the highest level of economic integration. An economic union combines a common market with a customs union and shared economic policies among member countries. When countries adopt a common currency, the economic union becomes a monetary union, strengthening integration further. Trade protocols include free trade areas, customs unions, common markets, and economic unions, which progressively increase economic integration between countries. South Africa participates in trade agreements like SACU, SADC, AU, BRICS, AGOA, and EU partnerships to promote trade and economic cooperation. Trade liberalization reduces tariffs and quotas to encourage free trade. Countries adopt balanced approach, combining protectionism and free trade depending on development needs. Governments use tariffs, quotas, subsidies, and bans to reduce imports and protect local producers from foreign competition. Protectionism protects jobs, supports industries, prevents dumping, and allows new businesses time to grow and compete internationally. It can cause inefficiency, higher prices, corruption, trade wars, and reduce competitiveness in global markets. Protectionism restricts imports to protect local industries, while free trade removes any form of restriction, allowing goods and services to move freely between countries. Free trade lowers prices, increases choice, improves efficiency, and promotes economic growth through global cooperation and specialization. It may harm local industries, increase inequality, and give foreign firms too much influence in domestic markets. Countries form trade agreements like free trade areas and customs unions to strengthen economic cooperation and increase trade between nations. South Africa participates in global and in regional trade agreements to promote exports, attract investment, and strengthen economic relationships. A balanced approach combining protectionism and free trade helps countries achieve growth, stability, and development depending on their economic goals. Thank you for learning with Miss Luls. You're one step closer to mastering economics and achieving your academic goals. Like, share, and subscribe for more powerful economics lessons. Turn on notifications so you never miss an ERAIN video. Keep studying, stay consistent, and remember, Success in economics comes from understanding concepts and practicing regularly. This is Miss Luls signing off. See you in the next lesson where we make economics simple, visual, and unforgettable.